Welcome back to the Financial Pathway. In today's episode, we will be discussing retirement. I am Tim Hedberg, and I am here with Brandon Hovey. Today, we are privileged to have as our special guest, Ingrid Prater. Ingrid is a financial services representative with Covenant Trust in Southern California. She has a certification in financial planning and a master's degree in healthcare administration. Ingrid, thanks for joining us. We're excited to pick your brain on retirement planning.
Thanks for having me, Tim. It's great to be here.
Yeah, we're glad to have you, Ingrid. Before we get to asking you questions, let's do a quick review of the financial pathway. The financial pathway is about letting our values, our core commitments, those things that matter most to us, drive and guide our financial habits. Once we have identified our values, we apply them to our spending, our debt, our investing, our retirement, and our giving.
Well, today we're going to be talking about building a retirement plan, and sometimes the subject is a little overwhelming. There's lots of details to it. We hear words and phrases like we need a diversified retirement plan. And like the guy on the left-hand side of the screen here, maybe we think that's 30% hopes, 30% wishes, 40% prayers. We have diversification there. Or maybe like the guy on the right, our plan is to wait until later in life and to come to a financial advisor and to essentially say, here's your chance to become a legend. I haven't saved anything. And of course, neither of these ideas are smart. We are not financial wizards or magicians that can make money appear. And so we need more than that. But we also want to say that no matter where you are in terms of saving for retirement or creating a plan, there's absolutely no guilt. There's no shame. There's no judgment. All of us are at different points in our journey. Some of us are ahead, some of us are behind, and that's okay. What you can control is the decisions and choices you make going forward. And so we want to give you the best information we can so that you can make smart choices moving forward. And that begins with thinking ahead. There's a verse in Proverbs that says, a wise person thinks ahead. And that's really our focus today, is to help you think ahead. And so Ingrid, as you begin to think about retirement, why is thinking ahead and planning so important?
Well, the reality is people are living longer. So instead of planning for 20 years in retirement, you need to actually plan for 30 to 35. Many are finding they need to work into their late 60s and even early 70s to have enough money to retire for 25 to 30 years. When planning for retirement, most experts advise that you should aim for about 70 to 80% of your working income in order to live comfortably in retirement. So there are 4 reasons why you want to save for retirement. First, there is constant talk of Social Security running out, so you don't want to rely on Social Security. Because of that, it's important for you to make a commitment to save your own retirement money. 2, you need to save enough for 30 years of retirement. If you don't, you may become a burden on your children. 3, it's to your benefit tax-wise to save for retirement. You can reduce your current taxes today by contributing to your tax-deferred retirement account. And then 4, the compound effect of investing in that retirement account over time can give you a more comfortable retirement. So the earlier you start, the bigger that compounding effect will have.
Ingrid, these are all great reasons to save for retirement, but one of the things I'm wondering is, how do we save for retirement? When I was a teenager, I thought my sports card collection was going to be a major asset for my retirement savings account, and that hasn't panned out exactly like I thought it would. Some people have a coin collection or real estate, or there's many other ways that they think they're going to save for retirement. So when we're planning for retirement, how do we prioritize our assets in a way that's going to fund retirement in a smart way?
Well, there are 4 main things that you need to consider when you're saving for retirement. First off, your first priority should be to take full advantage of your company's 401k match. So if they say they will match up to 3% of your income, by all means, put in at least 3% so you get that extra 3% added into your account. It's just free money into your future retirement. Second off, if you still have some money left over to save, go ahead and maximize your 401k contribution. Most companies have 401ks or 403bs. The maximum contribution in 2020 is $19,500. So you can take that out in monthly installments. And by all means, if you can put in that full $19,500 every year, then do that. That's very important. If you still have some money left over that you can save, start contributing to a Roth IRA. The maximum amount that you can contribute to a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA is $6,000 for 2020. And if you're 50 or over, you can actually contribute another $1,000, making that a total of $7,000 a year. If you still have some money left over after doing those three things, go ahead and start a straight investment account where you put money into the stock and bonds of the market. So that would be a great way to save some extra money that'll be less of a tax burden on you in the future, because you're not taxed on the amount that you put in later on when you go to take it out. So those are four great things to be doing to save for your retirement.
Yeah, thank you, Ingrid, for pointing these out. And many people are doing or are in the process of doing what you are suggesting here. They're putting money away. They're making good choices, but they're just not sure if they're fully ready for retirement or if they should work for a couple more years. So how do you determine if someone is financially ready to retire?
So to determine if you're ready to retire, you need to project how much income you will receive from your different sources. So you look at Social Security and a pension plan if you have one. Those two resources are easy to determine. You add to that any other income that you might have from an IRA or an investment account. And then you see how that compares to the amount of money that you think you're going to need in retirement. The difference between those two amounts is what we call the gap. So you're going to have to find a way to fill in that gap if there is one. So you can do a few different things. You need to develop a plan by either working longer to save a little bit more money. Some people go ahead and purchase an annuity that will give them some extra income in retirement. So those are things that you can talk to a financial planner about.
Yeah, thanks, Ingrid. Let's shift gears a bit and talk about what retirement looks like for most people these days. Most of us spend our entire life working. Then they enter this strange season of life where they are no longer working, and consequently there are new tax considerations and different kinds of bills and other realities. So let's talk about that new reality. First, Ingrid, let's talk about income in retirement. What are the common sources of income people have in those years?
So we touched on it a little bit already, but the three main sources of retirement income are: one, Social Security. But keep in mind that Social Security wasn't designed to be anyone's sole income in retirement. Generally, it provides 40% of the average wage earner's income in retirement. There's a rule of thumb that in addition to Social Security, you need to come up with about 60% of the income you'll need to live comfortably. So where does that come from? The two remaining areas that we're going to talk about. One of those is retirement savings, such as IRAs, 401ks, maybe a pension plan that you got from work. And then the other source would be investment accounts, employment income, if you're still planning to work maybe part-time in retirement, taking a home equity loan or a reverse mortgage out, estate gifts, maybe from relatives or parents that have passed away, and then you get an inheritance from that, or life insurance proceeds from a deceased family member. All of those are great sources of income.
Yeah. Ingrid, you mentioned Social Security. What are some of the basics of Social Security that our listeners might find helpful?
Well, Social Security, first of all, that you need to remember is not a guaranteed benefit. You either have to work 40 quarters to earn the benefit, or have a spouse who has worked those 40 quarters. Generally, it takes about 10 years to qualify for Social Security. Secondly, the amount you receive depends on the highest income you earned over those 40 quarters, as well as the age you begin taking it. When you start taking Social Security, it's a very important decision as it can affect the amount you receive for the rest of your life. To use my husband and I as an example, our full retirement age, as determined by Social Security, is 67. We could start taking our Social Security at 62, but if we did, we would get 30% less than if we were to wait and take it at our full retirement age of 67. If we can wait even longer until we are 70, we get an extra 24%. It works out to be 8% for each year after 67 or your full retirement age. If you are married, one strategy to consider is having the lower wage earner take their Social Security at full retirement age and the higher wage earner wait until 70.
Good. Thank you, Ingrid. And for our listeners, if you would like to learn more about your particular Social Security situation, any one of us at Covenant Trust can run an analysis for you and give you that information. So Ingrid, as we wrap things up, what are some common retirement pitfalls that you've seen, and what are some things we can do to avoid them?
Well, I think one of the first big major misconceptions is that Medicare will take care of all my healthcare costs in retirement. This is just simply not true. Typically, Medicare pays a little more than 50% of a retiree's medical bills. Higher healthcare costs as you age will probably begin as soon as you retire, so you may need to be paying more on medical services. The average annual expenditures for healthcare jump from $3,900 among working age people 50 to 64 to $5,000 for retirees who are 65 to 79 years old. So keep that in mind. Underestimating your life expectancy is a second big misconception. According to LIMRA, 25% of 65-year-old men with average health will live to age 93, and 25% of women in that category will live to 96. So it's important to really plan for a long retirement period of time. One of the third misconceptions is that retirement is not the end of saving for your retirement years. Plan to invest in and through retirement. You need to have a financial plan that covers tax efficiency, cash flow management, wealth enhancement, and estate planning. Another misconception is that saving 10 to 15% of your income is enough, but it only works if you started saving in your 20s. You need to drastically increase that amount to at least 20% or more if you've started later than in your 20s. And then finally, I don't have to start saving for my retirement until I'm in my 50s. That's a big misconception as well. Start saving for retirement early. The sooner you start saving, the more you take advantage of compounding and the less you have to save for later. Even small amounts over time can make a big difference in future savings.
Wow. Well, thank you very much for that, Ingrid. Thanks for providing so much good information for us to think about as we are planning for retirement. In terms of next steps, I want to just offer a few possible suggestions. First, as you're thinking about your own retirement plan, you may want to consider reading an article on the Covenant Trust website. You could find it down below in the description. It's called Approaching Retirement. And this article helps you think through and estimate your Social Security amount, how to apply for benefits, and make sure that you are saving enough. So you can check out that article. Second, if you'd like to talk with a local Covenant Trust financial services representative, we'd be happy to set up a free 30-minute consultation with you and talk about your unique situation. And then third, you may need to make course adjustments. After reviewing your plan or making a plan, it may be important to consider contributing more to your employer-sponsored plan, like a 401k or a 403b. That's a great place to start. If you're already contributing to that, you may want to open a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA and supplement your retirement planning as well, or a managed investment account. And we'd be happy to talk to you about those different accounts that we offer at Covenant Trust if you're interested. So again, thank you for joining us and have a great day.